Uh, Good evening, everyone. I am Dr. Chayan Kumar Saha, Associate Director, Appropriate Scale Mechanization Innovation Hub, Bangladesh, and Professor, Department of Farm Power and Machinery, Bangladesh Agriculture University. Would like to welcome you all on behalf of Appropriate Scale Mechanization Innovation Hub, Bangladesh Phase 2 project in today's virtual annual Symposium 2021. The theme of the symposium is appropriate scale mechanization for sustainable intensification in agricultural production system. The symposium is taking place virtually due to the COVID-19 pandemic situation. The workshop is divided into 3 sessions: inaugural session, student event, panel discussion session, and the program will be ended with the closing remarks. We are very delighted to have the presence of the distinguished guests of the inaugural session, distinguished panelists, representative of development partners, distinguished researcher, and academician from the international universities of USA and Cambodia, defined agricultural and science and technology universities of Bangladesh, eminent researcher from the defined research institutes, deans of the defined faculties of Bangladesh Agricultural University, directors of defined academics and research entities of Bangladesh Agricultural University, participants from public sector partners like Department of Agricultural Extension, Bangladesh Agricultural Development Corporation, private sector representatives, science ambassadors, students, progressive farmers, distinguished guests, print and electronic media, ladies and gentlemen, very good evening to all of you again, and good morning to you people who are joining from USA, from the other part of the world. We hope that you will be with us until the closing of the workshop. Some housekeeping announcement. Please keep your microphone mute until you speak in the question answering session. If you have any question during the presentation or panel discussion, you may put your question in the chat box there in a system in the Zoom. You may turn off your video for better streaming or saving the megabytes of the data for the participants who are connected via cell phones. The meeting is being recorded. We are in live on YouTube as announced earlier in the invitation card. YouTube link can be shared in your Facebook pages. Hope there should not be any problem from your side. In the inaugural session, we are very glad to have Honorable Professor Gajendra Singh, Chair, Science Committee of the Appropriate Scale Mechanization Consortium, University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign, USA, as the chief guest, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Dr. Lutful Hassan, Bangladesh Agriculture University, Mymensingh as the chief patron, Professor Dr. P.V. Bara Prasad, Director, Feed the Future Innovation Lab for Collaborative Research on Sustainable Intensification, Kansas State University, USA as the inaugural session chair. And today's inaugural session, we have 3 presentations. The presentation will be from Professor Dr. Prashanto K. Kalita, Director, Appropriate Scale Mechanization Consortium, University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign, USA, Professor Dr. Mohammad Manjul Alam, Project Director, ASMIH Bangladesh, and Professor, Department of Farm Power and Machinery, Bangladesh Agriculture University, Bangladesh, Dr. Daina Thieng, Coordinator, Appropriate Scale Mechanization Consortium, Royal University of Agriculture, Cambodia. There we will go directly to our guest speech. Please hold your question until the panel discussion session, where we will have some time to get your questions and taking your questions and suggestions. However, you can put your questions and remarks in the chat box of the Zoom platform, as well as in the YouTube platform that you are joining us from outside of the Zoom platform. In the inaugural session, before passing my microphone to our inaugural session chair, I would like to introduce Professor Dr. P.V. Bara Prasad. Dr. Prasad is a University Distinguished Professor of Crop Ecophysiology at the Kansas State University, USA, served as the Program Director of the Feed the Future Innovation Lab for collaborative research on sustainable intensification. He has extensive international experience in both Africa and Asia and has had significant involvement with several USAID projects in this region. Dr. Prasad provides leadership to SEAL and oversees all of the research, capacity building, knowledge sharing, and communication activities of the program. Now I'd like to request Professor Prasad to start the inaugural session. Dr. Prasad, please.
Greetings. Hope all of you are able to hear me.
Yes, we can hear.
Thank you. Greetings. Salam alaikum and namaskar. Welcome to the Appropriate Scale Mechanization Innovation Hub of Bangladesh virtual annual meeting. This Innovation Hub is part of the Appropriate Scale Mechanization Consortium being led by the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign. And this is funded by Sustainable Intensification Innovation Lab at Kansas State University. I would like to first thank and acknowledge the funding provided by U.S. Agency for International Development, USAID. I'm so glad that you are doing this virtual symposium moving forward with your research, education, and outreach activities in Bangladesh. Difficult conditions we are currently facing. Thank you to Dr. Manjura Alam, the Project Director of the Innovation Hub at Bangladesh, and Dr. Chayan Saha for leading this effort. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to say a few words and chair this inaugural session. The Bangladesh team has developed a short but excellent symposium with eminent speakers and leaders. I'm sure during these deliberations and dialogue, you will learn a lot from each other and continue to work collaboratively and proactively to meet the goals, objectives, and targets of not only your Innovation Hub, but also the Mechanization Consortium and our Innovation Lab. I wanted to welcome all the participants to this virtual symposium. I wish you would say a special thank you to all partner organizations in Bangladesh. Special thank you to all leaders, scholars, students, government sector, private sector, universities, research and extension agencies for your great collaborative work. I know that it is extremely difficult to schedule a time which is convenient for all the participants from across the globe. Thank you for being flexible and doing this during after hours, after working day. This clearly shows the dedication of the entire Bangladesh team. In this first inaugural session with the theme of appropriate scale mechanization for sustainable intensification in agricultural production systems. I'm assuming Dr. Hassan is here, Chayan or Dr. Alam?
Yes, Professor Kalita is here.
No, Dr. Hassan.
Yeah,
and
please,
Dr. Singh.
Yeah.
Dr. Singh is also there, both of them. Dr. Gajendra Singh.
No, he hasn't yet joined, but Professor Lutful Hassan is in. Yeah.
Okay, excellent. Thank you very much, sir. So first, I would like to invite our chief patron, Professor Lutful Hassan, the Vice Chancellor of Bangladesh Agricultural University, to start this inaugural session.
Okay, yeah, thank you very much. Dr. Vara Prasad, I think we met somewhere, is it?
Yes, yeah, yes, in this virtual conference. This is the second or third time we are talking to each other.
Thank you very much for your nice speech and for your kind presence in this occasion. So, Honorable Chief Guest, our close friend, Dr. Vara Prasad of Kansas State University, and Dr. Prashant Kalita, and respected guests, panelists, academicians, researchers, Dean of the Faculties, Director of different institutes of Bangladesh Agricultural University, and experts from international organization, our most respectful Professor Dr. Sattar Mandal Sir, and then sign ambassadors, DADC, and honorable teachers, and Dr. Chayan Saha. Good evening to everybody. We are highly pleased to have this meeting today on appropriate scale mechanization innovation hub, which is now going on at Bangladesh Agricultural University. Actually, to the chief guest, you understand it very well that we are working hard, particularly the team led by Dr. Manjurul Alam and Dr. Chayan Saha. They are working very hard to make a remarkable change in the rural Bangladesh. This mechanization project is contributing significantly for the improvement of agricultural development here in Bangladesh, particularly during this coronavirus time or this pandemic time. These farmers and the whole country was really highly benefited by the intervention of this mechanization. And the government is also happy. Bangladesh Agricultural University is very closely working with the Ministry of Agriculture and the Bangladesh government. And then our scientists, they are also working. And we are making changes, looking at the needs of the farmers, needs of the fields. And we are progressing very well. And hopefully, with our collaboration with Kansas State University and with Dr. Prashant K. Kalita of Urbana Champaign, we will be able to achieve our goals. So with these few words, I would like to conclude here. Let us start this and let us go through this session. Thank you very much. But Dr. Manjurul Alam, if you don't mind, can I leave now? Actually, I have another meeting. I'm over there, actually.
Yeah, I know, sir.
Dr.
Yeah, I know,
Dr.
sir, you are very
Prasad?
busy. Yeah.
He's
Yes,
the chief,
sir.
Dr. Kalita. Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah. Let me say a word about you,
See you
Dr.
later.
Hassan.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Dr. Hassan,
Bye-bye.
for your time and effort. And Professor Hassan is the Vice Chancellor of Bangladesh Agricultural University. In the past, he served as a Department of Genetics and Plant Breeding head. He led many collaborative projects and partnership with many national and international scholars. He worked at the International Rice Research Institute and in the Ministry of Science and Technology as a member of the Pay Commission. Sir, your leadership of the BAU and support to our consortium is very much appreciated. I know you're extremely busy, but we do appreciate your short presence and getting us started.
We will provide all support to this project.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye. Bye. So Dr. Alam, Prashanta, is Gajendra Singh here? Or?
Maybe we can go to the presentation first and then.
Yeah, he thought, I just called him. He thought the seminar starts at 10 o'clock. He should be joining momentarily, but we can continue, and as soon as he gets in, we will give him his time.
Okay, sounds good. So as soon as he comes in, let me know whether we can either break during the presentations or complete the presentation and then give him the chance to flow to talk about stuff. I think that may be better, so that we have a good flow.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much. As Dr. Chayan Saha mentioned, we have 3 short presentations today. Now, first, I would like to welcome Professor Prasanta Kalita, Director of the Appropriate Scale Mechanization Consortium, to give his presentation. As all of you know, he doesn't need any introduction, but he's a professor and presidential fellow at the University of Illinois in the Department of Agricultural and Biological Engineering. He also served as a director of ADMI Institute and associate dean for academic programs at College of Agriculture at University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign. Dr. Kalita, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Dr. Prasad. I really appreciate that very nice, glorious introduction. Thank you again. Good morning. Salam alaikum. Namaskar to all of you. As Dr. Alam and Dr. Saha put that in the agenda, I usually don't give a PowerPoint presentation, but since there is a mention about presentation, so we put together a small PowerPoint presentation, but we promise we will make it very short. So thank you again, and I like to acknowledge all the distinguished guests here: Dr. Alam, Dr. Saha, Dr. Bala, Dr. Chattar Mandal, my dear good friends and mentor, Dr. Wais Kabir, and our Vice Chancellor, who has always been the one of the one of the great supporters for all of our projects in Bangladesh, and all the other distinguished guests and friends, including Dr. Abdul Awal and all my friends there. So as many of you probably already know about this project, about Appropriate Scale Mechanization Consortium. So I will give an overview of our goals and some of the latest the achievements for this project. This project we started few years ago, and right now we are in the second phase of the ASMC. And as many of you know, that our goal is to evaluate and scale transformational technologies for smallholder farmers, both in Asia, in two countries, specifically in Bangladesh and Cambodia, and West Africa, two countries, Burkina Faso and Senegal. And we have two innovation hubs, one in Bangladesh and Cambodia, as well as in our West African region. We also have many partners from the US. At the University of Illinois, we are at the center of the project under the direction of Dr. Bhara Prasad and the whole SEAL team. We get constant guidance from them. So thank you so much for the SEAL project, the director, Dr. Prasad, and associate director, and all the other staff giving us constant help to execute our project. Our aim is to reach 5,000 hectares of land and 5,000 farmers. In our efforts, we emphasize suitability, scalability, and sustainability of selected agricultural value chain machines. And in pursuit of our goal, we utilize the 4-pillar approach, namely technology, innovation, entrepreneurship, policy infrastructure, and capacity building. We have our cross-cutting issues like gender integration and youth engagement out there.
Kalita, can you put in the slideshow mode? Okay.
Is she better now?
Yeah.
New share.
And two slides, one big, one small.
Santa switching.
Can you see it
Yeah,
better now,
yeah,
Chayan?
Good.
Yes,
This is
yes.
good now.
Okay. Thank you. We should be knowing this. We do that every day. And I teach 2 classes. And I think I just realized maybe my students are so afraid they never correct me. They put the other slide. But thank you. That's what is nice, to have presentations among friends and mentors and teachers and everybody else. And I just see our Honorable Professor Singh just join out there. So thank you, sir. I'll finish this presentation and then I'll turn it over to Dr. Bhara Prasad, our chair of the session. So our first, as we are speaking of our goals, our first year achievements, we already achieved a significant accomplishments through this project among all 4 countries. We all know that we have all the challenges due to COVID, traveling and having meetings and all together. But we have about 963 participants so far, and 786 males and about 180 female. We have 11 students, 9 male and 2 female, about 430 hectares, and in additional 1,780 hectares in the validation process. So we are checking on that. We have 4 publications, and technologies being scaled is 13. So here are the various developmental stages of our machines. In our phase 1, the technologies have gone through the research, and as you can see, I'm not going to read those. The 4-wheel tractor is for the operated seeder in Bangladesh is under that in the very first phase. The second phase is technologies are ready for field testing, and we have done that. And currently we have solar power drip irrigation system in Burkina Faso is going through that. Our phase 3 is the technologies are available for transfer as a result of the field validation. And we have several of them in Burkina Faso, Senegal, Cambodia, all those forage choppers, no-till planters, seed broadcaster, land leveler, crop cover crop systems. All these technologies are now available for transfer. And our final phase is demonstrated uptake by the stakeholder and the private sectors. And as you can see, we have made significant progress in that in Burkina Faso, Bangladesh, and some of them are about to get ready. In Cambodia, we will hear more from our Cambodian partners. Animal grown maize planter in Burkina Faso, rice reaper, combine harvester, two-wheel tractor, and rice transplanters. These are being very popular among farmers and as well as with some of the private sector systems out there. We had today our ACI, one of our significant partners from Bangladesh. I saw the representative, Dr. Subrata Das, and hopefully he will be able to share some of his thoughts out there. Some other housekeeping things that we have commonly doing it here at Illinois. You know, many of you probably know or you have already been to our website, the Appropriate Scale Mechanization Consortium. All the projects updates that we have from all different projects, all countries and all our partners, we try to update our website from time to time. So please get into our website. It's asmc.illinois.edu. We are also developing a database of global agricultural mechanization research as being wherever people are working on mechanization, whatever machines they're using it, and the performance of the machines, all of that we are planning to include in that website. We started with Bangladesh, Cambodia, Burkina Faso, and Senegal, but hopefully this digital database will encompass for most of the developing countries and help people out there for getting this information out to them. What's available, what's cost, what's good, what performs better, and all that information. This is, we are working this in a close collaboration with Dr. Vera Prasad because this is his idea. Actually, he told us that, and we thought, what a wonderful one-stop shop to develop here for us, for ASMC, to be the information provider for all agricultural mechanization equipment practices and partners through this digital database. We are also almost at the end of developing an online agricultural mechanization course, and right now it's under review. We have, this course has 12 modules, including topics such as tillage, seedbed preparation, planting, weed control, harvesting, and all. And currently we are in a discussion with the University of Illinois Extension. So to transfer, once we have this course review, we'll transfer this to the extension because they have a better mechanism to offer this course online to all people at all times. Our other option will be through Coursera course, through Coursera platform, which we are still investigating out there. We have completed an agricultural mechanization survey status, and we just received our first phase of our African results. And we got about 57 responses from Africa, entire Africa, West Africa, East Africa, South Africa, and Middle Africa. However, it may be 57, but we had, we asked many questions about all crops, about all operations. Combining those two, we got more than 650 response points about the need for agricultural mechanization, what are the limiting factors out there, and what people like to do. In most cases, as we are showing only the preliminary results, 88% of the people that responded, they want mechanization. They strongly agree or agree about the need for mechanization. And about 9% do not agree. You always have that thing. Current level of mechanization is close to 20% only including all the crops and all the operations, and about close to 70% is done by human and animal-based power sources out there. So and then we ask what are the limiting factors. One of the top result is access to financial resources, and the other would be cost of mechanization, availability of technologies, and those kind of things. I already mentioned about that. You will have, I want to show all the some of the significant achievements from this country, but I don't want to repeat Bangladesh, as Dr. Alam is going to go into detail of that. Dr. Dina Thang, from our distinguished colleague from Cambodia, the Royal University of Agriculture, he is going to present and show some of the outcome from Cambodia. The West Africa and Senegal, the lot of things are happening. The one thing you probably know, the Senegal is our new country for phase 2. We never worked in Senegal for the first part in terms of agricultural mechanization, ASMC. But we found wonderful people there, very enthusiastic. They are working with 4 artisans, and recently displayed West African Agricultural Technology Park in Bombay, Senegal. They are currently using 7 choppers, also working with manure displacement, seed planting. Also, 2-wheel tractor is currently being assessed for scalability out there. In Burkina Faso, a lot of things are happening. We are working with really marginal farmers out there. Animal is one of the most widely used and available power source for agriculture. So we are working with animal drone conservation, planter, forage chopper, solar drip irrigation system is right now under field investigation and scalability. So things are happening out there. We are very lucky and thankful to all our partners that in spite of all the challenges in last more than 1.5 years, our people are working to fulfill the goal of ASMC partners. We have many people to thank for. First of all, the USAID for International Development and our Feed the Future organizations through SIL, Sustainable Intensification Innovation Lab, and Kansas State, Illinois, Michigan, North Carolina, ADM Institute, Tillers International here in the US, but we have many other our partners in other countries, Bangladesh Agriculture Universities, and so on and so forth. I'm not going to read all of that due to time constraint, but this presentation will be available if anybody wants to go through all of that. So thank you. But I must thank our project manager, Leighton Brown, who actually made this presentation, and he previously presented that in the fall symposium of ASMC that we had conducted only less than 2 weeks ago. So Leighton provides all the connections, all the links, and all the communications, and helping this project move forward. So the big thank you to Leighton, and thanks to all the other organizations that are helping us, and Dr. Alam and Dr. Saha and other Bangladesh Agricultural University partners for working diligently and sincerely to make our project goals met for the ASMIH Bangladesh. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you very much, Dr. Kalita, for your presentation and also updating us on the status of the objectives and the accomplishments which were done in the last several years. Thank you so much for being brief. Welcome, Dr. Gajendra Singh. We started the pre-presentations. We appreciate your time. So I hope it's okay if I go through the next 2 presentations, and I'll give the floor back to you for your comments. Is that okay? I'm assuming it's okay. So what I'll do is I'll go forward with the next 2 presentations, and then I'll give the floor to Dr. Gajendra Singh for his comments. Thank you so much. So now let me invite Professor Manjurul Alam, the director of the Bangladesh ASMC Innovation Hub, to the floor to give his comments. He is a professor in the Department of Farm Power and Machinery at Bangladesh Agriculture University. He is a frontier in the field of agricultural machinery in Bangladesh and well known for his research. He is widely recognized for his excellence in teaching, research, and professional leadership in the areas of agricultural mechanization. He worked as a consultant with many global organizations, including FAO, World Bank, DFID, GIZ, DANIDA, and many more. And for all of our speakers today, we have circulated the speaker's profile, which has much more details about their accomplishments. Dr. Allen, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Bharaprasad. Good evening and good morning to our friends, the chair, Professor Bharaprasad, and especially the chief guest, Professor Gajendra Singh, and distinguished participants from home and abroad. So welcome you all to my presentation on appropriate scale mechanization for sustainable intensification in agricultural production systems in Bangladesh. First of all, I'd like to just introduce my team, that is the ASMIH-Bangladesh team. So it comprises of Bangladesh Agriculture University team, Bangladesh Agricultural Research Institute team, and ACI Motors team. The portfolios of my colleagues are shown here. So ladies and gentlemen, I like to actually talk about the impact of ASMIH-Bangladesh phase 1, especially for the key activities, objectives, and areas of intervention in ASMIH-Bangladesh phase 2, then sustainable scaling and collaboration strategies, ongoing activities, and the activities of SCIAN, a youth network, and urgent policy intervention. So, ladies and gentlemen, the ASMIH-Bangladesh project started in October 2015, and the first phase ended with June 2020. And the goal of the program was to promote appropriate scale mechanization for sustainable intensification, focusing on smallholder farmers, on-farm operation, and improve land and labor productivity in a sustainable manner, considering the social, economic, and environmental impacts with a special focus on the role of women. So as you know, the key outputs of the phase 1, we identified and scaled a few appropriate machineries, especially for planting machineries and seed planting machineries and harvesting machineries. And the video link of those identified machines are given here. So again, we developed the training and business module, gender profiles, and selected videos on the technologies. And the main work we emphasize on, that is development of entrepreneurs, the customer service provisions in Bangladesh. That is the main vehicle of mechanization in Bangladesh. And we contributed in policy change for the government subsidy program. So let us see, as I mentioned, that we contributed in the policy, in the first phase. We started especially with the harvesting equipment. The two equipment we selected, one is the dipper and one is mini combine harvester. We tested those machines at on farm, that is at farmer's field. Then we assessed the financial and business aspects, as well as we have the feedback from these local service providers and the farmers. After 1 year, what we identified that the cost of operation of the mini combine harvester gone sharply very high because of this repair and maintenance cost, and there is some problem with the mini combine harvester, especially it cannot actually harvest the shorter rice plant, as well as the robustness of the machine was in question. Then from the project side, we talk about private sector partners, especially the ACI Motors and the metal. And we actually find out two important machines, that is the small to medium sized combined harvester. One was the Myanmar combined harvester, other was the World. So we tested in the field and we found that resolves the problem that we have seen with this mini combined harvester. Then we talked to our other collaborator, that is Department of Agricultural Extension, that is the public sector body who is responsible for disseminating the appropriate technology to the farmers' field. So the ASMIH-Bangladesh, then the private sector companies, along with this Department of Agricultural Extension, we approached the Ministry of Agriculture to include this combined harvester in the government subsidy program. You know, at the time, the government was providing subsidy on agricultural machines up to 50% to 60%, 70%, depending on the area. Before that, it was mini combined harvester was in the list. So we actually asked the Minister of Agriculture, especially our Honorable Agriculture Minister, Dr. M.D. Abdul Razak MP. So, and request him to just have these policy decisions so that the mini combined harvester will be replaced by the small and medium-sized combined harvester. So there was a question to change the policy, as because before that, no machine can have more than 5 lakhs Bangladeshi taka of subsidy. But a small-sized combined harvester almost required threefold of that amount. So he took that decision, and that was the great decision and have the paradigm shift. We'd like to thank our Honorable Agriculture Minister. So during 2020, in the pandemic situation, the government actually provided 23.81 million USD for actually disseminating of reaper and this small size combined harvest. And now the government is actually implementing another program of 3.6 billion US dollar for agricultural machinery, and that will be implemented in the next 5 years. So most of our identified technologies now are in the subsidy program. So far, about 1,820 medium-sized combined harvesters have been promoted to the farmers' field, and about 15,000 combined harvesters to be promoted in the next 5 years through this subsidy program. So, ladies and gentlemen, I now like to concentrate to our second phase of the appropriate scale mechanization, and that started in July 2020, and that will be end by 2023. And the major goal of this, the phase 2, is to facilitate the development and deployment of transformational technology in the southern delta of Bangladesh for sustainable intensification of 5,000 smallholder farmers and or 5,000 hectares of land, which will ultimately result in increased farm productivity and household income while empowering women and engaging the youth. The main objectives of this program are scale the selected transformational technology to the southern delta, and then build the capacity and entrepreneurial capacity of service providers and fabricators, empower women and engage youth in mechanized agriculture, and enable policy environment of mechanization. So we actually identified the technologies, like the rice transplanter, two-wheel and four-wheel tractor with seed planter, reaper and combine harvester, and BOSTR dryer that is being scaled to the farmer's field. And particularly in this second phase, we are establishing one-stop single service provisions that may be an individual or with the farmer's group. Then we already established a technology park in collaboration with ESA Motors, and we have already established one conservation agricultural parks in collaboration with our partner, that is Bangladesh Agricultural Research Institute. We have tried to engage the youth, and we have developed a youth network called Smart Agro-Technology Innovation Youth Network in the line of 4H Illinois approach. So we called it SIAN. We are also working closely with our seal puller project in Bangladesh, and we are supporting machinery intervention in transplanting, seed planting, and harvesting, and we are trying to build capacity and strengthening the capacity of entrepreneurship. So in this particular area, we are looking at the sustainable scaling and intensification, and we intend to scale of this identified technology. And in this project, we try to build the capacity of potential service providers, and particularly the one-stop single point service provisions and the farmers group and operators and mechanics. So single shed farmers groups is already, we have established and we are promoting with this. The project intends to actually engage women and youth in the agricultural mechanization. And we have already established a conservation agricultural park for demonstrating conservation agricultural practices to the relevant stakeholders. And we are also going to establish a technology park with the help of ACI, our private sector partner, to demonstrate appropriate agricultural mechanization to the relevant stakeholder. And we are trying to enabling environment for agricultural mechanization. Now, the collaboration strategies, we try to collaborate among the education institution, public sector institution, research institution, private sector, machinery companies, and local workshops. So BAU, that is Bangladesh Agriculture University, is leading the research and generating knowledge and technology on mechanization. From the public sector, that is Department of Agriculture, Extension already collaborating with us, and they are the lead extension and dissemination institution in Bangladesh, and they are providing the program, the government subsidies and incentives to the agricultural machineries in all over the Bangladesh. Bangladesh Agricultural Research Institution is also promoting the conservation agricultural technologies, and it is also promoting the practices through the CFR. Private sector, a company that's the ACI Motors Limited, that one of the largest machinery marketing company in Bangladesh. They are promoting and all this machine and marketing all over the country. And through this agricultural mechanization part, they are disseminating this technology among the farmers. And the local workshops are actually in collaboration with the university and research institute, fabricating locally developed machine and collaborating with institutions. So there are some ongoing programs, as you know, that we have developed the entrepreneurship, especially the customer service and the entrepreneurship. We call this local service providers. And altogether, with 17 of them, we have developed in our areas, and our machines from our project is also working at the farmers group. Altogether, we have covered 243 hectares of land in last 1 year. And ACI Motors, one of the research partner of ASPI, is actually sold out 663 combined harvesters and covered about 47,135 hectares in last 1 year. In the southern delta, they promoted 16 combined harvesters that covered 898 hectares of land. So we also actually conducted 19 hands-on training program involving 422 mechanic, operator, and local service providers. ACI Motors also trained 663 actually operators and local service providers. We, at this particular phase, we are trying to looking at the scaling gap of this selected technology, especially for combined harvester and seed planter and POS tear dryer, as well as the technology readiness analysis. So far, we have done 2 major workshops, especially on the BOS tear dryer and seed planter, and soon we'll be doing the same with the combined harvester. So we are, that I mentioned that the customer service provision, especially the local service providers, a main vehicle of mechanization in Bangladesh. And with the desire of the farmers having all these services from a single point, we are trying to facilitate some of these single shed service point providers. One of the examples you see in the picture Mr. Martin Boiragi, a service provider from Kolabara, Potuakhali district. He actually purchased a combine harvester. He has other machines. So he is actually providing this after-sale service to the farmers. And ASMIH-Bangladesh project is providing hands-on training and season-long mentoring, actually assistance to this, particularly to the service provisions. And so far, 5 single point service points have been developed through this program. So you see some of the pictures of these single point service provisions. As I already informed that we have already developed or established a conservation agricultural park with the help of Bangladesh Agricultural Research Institute at the BRI campus, Gazipur. In that CA park, that area is now moderately only 0.5 hectare, but that's the beginning. And the facility have a submersible solar pump for irrigation, a field lab and visitors corner, and body pipe irrigation system already developed. And the BRI team actually experimenting on tillage and residue effect on crop productivity, soil health and profitability in maize cover crop rice and mungbean cover crop rice cropping systems. They're also experimenting on portal rice planting for improving the soil health and profitability in long-term rice cropping pattern. That is one of the major cropping pattern in Bangladesh with rice residue management. You see the pictures of the CA park that is established, particularly in this phase. So the CA park, they already developed a CA machinery website. You see that link is given here. So from this web-based platform that offers information of CA machinery, especially the make, model, price, dealer, marketing company, all these informations, and so that anyone can actually contact with this and know the sources, and anyone can have this information about the local service providers, operators, mechanics, and spare parts availability, what they can get it. And actually that website is also giving someone opportunity to engage with the different CA forums. Beyond that, that particular website is also providing actually all the specifications and all the informations of other agricultural machines. Already the website has been cited by many and it is being improved. So you know that as we see from our experience that it is very difficult to keep this youth into agriculture, as because they are always moving to the towns and cities and industries. And to keep in mind, actually this program tried to develop a youth network. We call it SIAN, that is Smart Agro Technology Innovation Youth Network, in collaboration with the Forest, Illinois. And that SIAN has been actually launched on August 26, 2021. And so far, 8 agricultural universities and science and technology and the universities having ICT department and computer department already engaged with this SIAN network. So home and abroad, we have the advisors, and from this university, we have the faculty as the mentors, and SIAN ambassadors are working on that. So the launching ceremony YouTube channel link is given here. SIAN already took some of the activities, they arranged this, especially the slogan and the logo competition. Through competition, SIAN actually finalized this logo, as you see in the left side slide. So this is the SIAN, and the slogan was confirmed, and slogan is the think great, do great, and innovate for green planet. In Bengali, it is called Toruner Medha Shokti Gorbe Sobuj Prithibi. The SIAN also arranged an idea competition 2021 on smart agriculture for green planet. So there was a tremendous support and encouragement we have seen from the youths of different universities, and submitted their ideas through the evaluation of a numbers of ideas, and there are the evaluators from the home and abroad. So, and there was a screening process. Through that screening process, we have screened out 10 top 10 ideas, and those top 10 ideas was actually present in a virtual session on 5th of November. And all the participants have the voting right to actually add with this evaluator's marks. And finally, we came out with the 3 best ideas. Today, we have the opportunity to hear from them just after this session. And the best 3 will be given a prize value of $500, a credit certificate, and all the 10 best ideas will be acknowledged by certificate. This is the actually SIAN Facebook page. You can have a look in this Facebook page of their activities. You know, especially in the COVID-19 situation, there was really some critical situations, and we trying to cope up this situation by having our activities, especially the training programs, adopted in combination with the virtual and physical. So we actually joined virtually through this online platform, as we see in the picture, and our technician at the field, they have given the hands-on training. So we managed to actually try to keep up our pace with these activities. So as you know, we have another things to do. That is, we have another website that is innovation in mechanized agriculture and green energy. We called it Imaze. You can have to see this in Bangladesh Agriculture University domain, and all of our research activities are actually, you can find it in there if you navigate it. So I am coming to this conclusion, and especially for the urgent policy options that is needed. Long-term capacity building of this LSP mechanics and operators and local workshops are really important, and especially on operation maintenance and business management. That is really needed. So the development incentives the government is providing, that should be continued for a period 2 single shed service providers, farmers group, and small service company. What we are looking that the service company will emerge in the field of agricultural service section. After sales service and the spare parts availability is really a big questions, and it should be ensured in the cropping seasons and in the farming locality. And appropriate machines and technologies to be made available through innovation, that is the research and development, local production, and import. There should be a balance between these two. And we need to enable the environment for engaging women and youth in mechanized, especially for the smart agriculture. And the climate smart technologies like conservation and precision agricultural technologies need to be promoted to sustain the natural and physical resources and to sustain the agricultural ecosystem. And finally, the credit need to be available from the banks and financial institutions to agricultural machinery value chain experts, service providers, local machinery producers for sustaining investment in agriculture. So I'm at the end of my presentation. I'd like to acknowledge Fit the Future, USAID, SEAL, Kansas State University, University of Illinois, Bangladesh Agriculture University, Bangladesh Agricultural Research Institute, Department of Agricultural Extension, ACI Motors and Metal. And I like to thank again all of today's participants for patience hearing. So thank you all.
Thank you very much, Dr. Alam, for your kind presentation and nicely telling us the accomplishments from your first phase and also the status of the current objectives and activities. I truly appreciate your research. In addition to that, your advocacy with the Ministry of Agriculture and Bangladesh government is very much appreciated. That certainly has helped scaling some of the ag machinery throughout Bangladesh. So we truly appreciate that. In addition, I'm very thankful that you've clearly outlined the scaling pathways and also the establishment of conservation agriculture park in some areas. These will be very valuable. And your engagement with private sector, agricultural extension department, and other agricultural research organizations and universities within Bangladesh is very much appreciated. And I like the idea about the 2 websites which you mentioned, which will showcase, at least shows the database of the agricultural machinery And finally, not the least, but your engagement with youth and establishment of this SION network is going to be very valuable to empower youth and make sure that there continue to be interest in agricultural sciences, particularly with agricultural machinery. Thank you so much for your kind presentation. Now let me invite Dr. Dina Teng. He is the Vice Dean of the Faculty of Agricultural Biosystems Engineering at the Royal University of Agriculture in Cambodia. He also serves as the coordinator of ASMC in Cambodia. He is well recognized for his research on polymers, biogas technology, and agricultural machinery. He has worked extensively on institutional development and capacity building in Cambodia. Welcome, Dr. Teng. The floor is yours. All other participants, we appreciate if you can kindly mute your microphones when you're not speaking. Go ahead, Dr. Teng. It's okay. The kids, I can hear the kids in the background, but that's part of what we do. Thank you so much for taking time to making this presentation to our group. Dr. Teng, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Dr. Varaprasad, for your introduction. And also thanks to Bangladesh team for your invitation. And let me share the presentation on appropriate scale mechanization consortium for sustainable intensification ASMC Cambodia. This is the content for my presentation. That first I will introduce about the current project, ASMC Cambodia, about the recent progress and major accomplishment here, technology and scaling effort, collaboration, and major challenge and upcoming activity that we are going to do. About the ASMC project in Cambodia, as it is also the same in Bangladesh, that we have conducted phase 1, and now we are in phase 2. That the phase 2 is a 3-year project starting from July 2020 to June 2023. Within this, ASMC Cambodia will work to reach 2,500 hectares through 4 technology, include cover crop, seed broadcaster, no-till planter, and land leveler. And the implementers of ASMC Phase 2 in partnership with ISA project include Royal University of Agriculture, where I am working for. Another partner is Conservation Agriculture Service Center in Department of Agricultural Land Resource Management in General Directorate of Agriculture. And the last partner is Swiss Contact Cambodia. From the beginning of the project, we sent 3 Pabi trainees join the Cast Dam Sirat in Battambang to learn about CA for SI. And with the foundation work of Swiss Contact, previously we have MITIP project, ASMC team through the partnership with Innovation for Sustainable Agriculture. ISA was able to sign partnership agreement with 3 private sector, include Smart Agro, Larano, and Nguyen, to promote the technologies. We provide the field showcase of conservation agriculture practice in Battambang that until now is approximately 400 hectares of land cultivated under CA, include rice, maize, mung bean, and pasture. About 80 units of seed broadcaster were sold out with estimate of 20 hectares of land per unit per rice cropping season. And we also provide support to database management, database establishment at UIUC. About the exact number of CA that we reach is 404. That this we did for several areas such as land leveling, sowing cover crop, sowing main crop, on-farm trial, living cover crop, pasture, and seed production. That this mainly is sowing maize, main crop, corn and rice. And this around 70% was provided by service provider that include local service provider and Larano, where Larano is a private sector. He imported no-till planter from Brazil and also provided service to farmer. Besides this, CAS also provides some service provider, but CAS mainly they work on research and development. As the number of no-till planter is limited, so about 2% that farmer keep broadcasting by hand, and Smart Agro also joined 2%. Currently in Battambang, we cover in two village with in two districts with 5 villages, and we keep going to increase the number of villages and farmers as well as area. For the sequence of conservation agriculture, here the picture show that we have land plan below. We have land plan to level the land and then cover, we grow cover crop, and then sow green sowing under the cover crop, and the crop grow, and then we harvest and recycle this. According to this, the feedback from farmers applying this technology, they said that this technology provide high biomass input, enhanced weed management, increased biological activity, low production cost, and increased yield. This is a sequence of seed production that we have planting cover crop. The cover crop grow, harvest cover crop, grow main crop, harvest, and then recycle to planting cover crop. These are the 3 common cover crop type or variety. Our team also conducted agronomic and economic assessment to compare between the farmer who grow 2 cycle of corn, first cycle and second cycle, compared to another farmer who grow first cycle of corn and second cycle of mung bean or cover crop. According to this assessment, we found that the first cycle of corn, the farmer gain benefit, profit, but the second cycle of corn, the farmer lose because of the low yield and due to the low rainfall. But when they apply mung bean in the second cycle or cover crop, they gain more profit. ASMC Cambodia also try to contribute with orchard cover crop. That this we start from 2019 with one household and just half hectare. But later in 2020, we increased to 3 households with 4.5 hectare. And this year, 2021, we increased to 6 households with 5.5 hectare. That in the orchard, they apply stylo, ochroleuca, arachis rampans, and central. According to this application, the feedback from farmer is said that applying the CA practice in orchard, it reduce the cost for weed management, enhance water storage capacity, increase soil fertility, and increase income. The team here also conducted biomass assessment of cover crop between 5 different variety of cover crop. In this, we found that Sebania, that it has higher in plant height and also higher amount of biomass. For the pasture land, pasture farmer, they grow grass in field or inter-row with mango tree. The number also increased, that we start in 2020 with 3 households and 7 hectares. But in this year, we increased to 8 households with 11.45 hectares. The farmer provided feedback that using pasture in orchard or in the field, it increased for the resource that previously a member or 2 members of each household need to find grass for their cattle, that when they grow, they can harvest in the orchard or in their field. The growing grass is also decrease soil erosion, improve soil fertility, and increase income. This year, we developed a first issue newsletter that to show the project in general with the partnership agreement, with the partnership collaboration with private sector. That this information we are planning to translate it into Cambodian language, that we will be able to deliver not only to foreigner or company, but we will also distribute to farmer and other stakeholders to share for information. The four technology that we are working on, such as land plan for land leveler, no-till planter, cover crop, and seed broadcaster. This technology, we collaborate with one private sector, Larano Intervention, that he collaborate on land leveler and no-till planter. Collaborating with this private sector, we conducting service provider survey for service provision. Events are on hold due to COVID-19. However, there are some field showcase even conducted with the joint event of What for Camp project. With another private sector on cover crop technology, Smart Agro, we conducted search to identify potential service provider and farmer, and conducted demand creation meeting in Battambang province. That the collaboration with 3 private sector, include Smart Agro. We support him to promote the use of cover crop and develop branding and promotional material. With Larano, intervene on no-till planter and land leveler. Also, we promote the adoption of no-till planter and land leveler and generate continuous supply of no-till planter and land leveler. And with Nguyen workshop, is a local workshop, we collaborate to intervene seed broadcaster. The major challenge for us, the same to other countries in the world as well, is COVID-19 pandemic, that the country was locked down for a while, and there has been restricted of travel from place to place, as well as physical meeting. However, our field staff keep field consultation, carrying door-to-door visit to promote the technologies. Recently, yesterday and tomorrow, we begin some events and meeting, although not a big group, but we can organize it from now as the number of COVID-19 pandemic and the situation look better. For the upcoming activity, we keep follow up on farm demo of farmer plot green sowing, conduct baseline survey to engage new farmer and service provider, follow up seed production with farmer, conduct agronomic and economic assessment on maize and cassava, conduct field showcase event, conduct assessment on behavioral change of service provider, on the service provision of no-till planter, organize hub advisory committee meeting to share research finding, innovation, project progress, and to receive comment and recommendation, and collect data for gender and youth involvement. Last but not least, I would like to thank to Feed the Future, USAID, Royal University of Agriculture, General Directorate of Agriculture, Innovation for Sustainable Agriculture Project, Illinois University, CIRAD, Swiss Contact, SEAL, and Kansas State. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Thing, for summarizing your accomplishments and providing us a nice summary of the status of the current work in Cambodia. We truly appreciate your leadership, and you're working collaboratively in partnership with General Department of Agriculture, CIRAD, Swiss Contact, and many other companies. And I think I particularly would like to thank you for your work on conservation agriculture, and also the cover crops, and working hard to make sure that the service provision activities is continuing. And also cover crop seed production has been a challenge. So thank you so much for your help in that. Now now you've heard from all the three presentations. I'll revert back to Dr. Gajendra Singh. Let me now invite our chief guest of this symposium, Professor Gajendra Singh, to give his remarks. Dr. Gajendra Singh currently serves as the chair of the scientific committee of the ASMC. Dr. Singh is a leader and scholar in the area of agricultural mechanization in Asia and around the world. He served many organizations, including a professor and department head and a vice president of academic affairs at the Asian Institute of Technology in Thailand. Before that, he served as a Deputy Director General Engineering at Indian Council of Agriculture Research, and also was a Vice Chancellor of the Doon University in India. His impact on agriculture mechanization is long-lasting, and he has trained many scholars in the region who are currently leading several organizations and departments. His commitment to human and institutional capacity building is very much appreciated. I also personally wanted to thank you for guiding the ASMC team over the last several years. We are delighted to have your presence at this regional symposium, which our Bangladesh team of ASMC has put together. Dr. Singh, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Prasad. I'm very happy to see some of my students here in the audience. It's always a very happy feeling. I think the two presentations were excellent. I will start with Bangladesh. The phase one, as it was planned, I think was very successful in Bangladesh. Especially what they found is, or promoted, was this custom hiring system of so the mechanization becomes accessible to small farmers, small holders also, and that is a worldwide trend. Actually, we are learning from lessons that because machinery investment is quite costly, it's expensive, you cannot own it, but if it is available, we used to call it a taxi model, that when you need, you hire, pay for it. And if you develop good relations, you can actually pay later after harvesting the crop. But that depends on the service provider and relation between farmers. What is remarkable is that Bangladesh has done tremendous job of convincing the government getting the subsidy for the right kind of equipment, especially for the combine harvesters, because during the COVID situation, where movement of people, including agricultural labor, was restricted, the combine harvesters really come to your rescue because they can cover large areas. So I think getting subsidy up to 50 to 70% even is a big achievement. And very enthusiastic plan to get 15,000. Is that correct, Dr. Alam? 15,000 combines in the next 5 years?
Yes, the
That
government
is,
is providing subsidies.
For a country like Bangladesh, I think that is very, very encouraging. The target of 5,000 farmers and 5,000 hectare of land again is very significant, because this area and number of farmers being significant will have a very big impact, because it will be quite widespread. Then I think the promoting the two-wheel tractor-based seed planter, I think in the last workshop also we discussed some difficulties in operating the two-wheel tractors, but we are working on the systems to improve it. And I'm quite happy to see that your BAU STR dryer is really catching the attention of farmers, and its use is increasing. I did visit, when I visited Bangladesh, the ACI Motors, and I think you have a wonderful partner in that one. And if they are able to sell 603 combines, that is a big achievement, big achievement, because when people start buying the combine. What I was very much impressed was by your SAYN, SAIYN, this youth network, and the way you organize the competition and getting this. I think that got so many people involved in it and became members or parts in the whole campaign. I think you have a very good policy framework worked out, and starting with the capacity building as a foundation, because unless you have the people to do these jobs in a right way, the skilled manpower required for these things, I think, so that is, I assume that your single shade service provider is like under one roof, something like that, huh? So,
Yes,
and you provide all these equipment needed in that area at one point.
no, sir. Actually, we haven't actually provided the machine. Actually, the entrepreneur actually purchases those machines, and they are providing the service for us.
Okay. But
What we
he
do,
makes
we
it
actually
available
provide
at
them.
one. Yeah, 1 point. That's what I'm saying. Not you, but he provides.
Yes.
He has all this setup. Again, rather than a farmer running to different places for different equipment, getting from one place, okay? And I think very good. And your emphasis on making credit available on easy terms and easily, I think definitely will go a long way. Regarding Cambodia, Mr. Dina Thang, I think he summarized the whole thing very well. Their emphasis of their target of 2,500 hectares in the situations they are working is I think also commendable. And I understand as he explained about the 4 technologies, they will emphasize a cover crop, seed broadcaster, no-till planter, and land leveler. I'm I'm not very clear how successful has been the Brazilian no-till planter, because it's a very machine. As I see it, maybe Mr. Dana Thang will see how feasible or practical it is going to be in a long term, such a big planter. Because I think we have to look at that there should be a matching in the size of equipment. When you are looking at a small farmers, so maybe a medium size or something like that may be better. I know the Batam Bang is a very progressive area in agriculture in Cambodia. Two of my students did their master's thesis research in Batam Bang. And introducing the conservation agriculture from that area is very interesting. And most of the equipment in Batam Bang also comes from Thailand, because Thailand is just on border. And Thailand has a very cheap and very, I would say, economic machinery available. But getting already some 400 acres under conservation agriculture and 170 or so household covered, I think is a very good progress. I was not very clear when he explained about crop rotation under conservation agriculture, corn after corn and corn after mung bean. In my view, long run corn mung bean rotation should actually be more productive, because mung bean fixes the nitrogen also in long run, and mung bean, if we have the good variety and yield, is also relatively high price crop. So maybe when they do more experiments, and I think these rotations will become clear. But overall, I think both countries are doing extremely well, and I wish them all the best. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Gajendra Singh, for providing your insights and observations. They're all well appreciated, and I'm sure that Bangladesh and Cambodia team has noted some of the questions which you were mentioning, and they will respond to those questions directly to you or share their thoughts on that. Again, I do want to thank you for your time in joining us today and providing your insights and also guiding as the chair of the Science Committee of the ASMC. With that, I know we are running a little late on time, although we started a little late as well. So now I'll conclude this session and give the floor back to Dr. Chain Saha to guide us to the next steps. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you, Professor Prashad, for your valuable time and chairing the session. It was really wonderful session for all of us, and we learned a lot from the presentations and the discussion. So now I'll take you to the student event. As Professor Alam mentioned, that we had a idea competition as well as the logo competition from the Cyan platform. So I will share our presentation, the small one, just screen, and show you actually what or the presentation, the top 10 idea. Just a minute. Hopefully you can see the screen. So we arrange a Cyan idea competition through our Cyan platform, and the theme of the competition was smart agriculture for the green planet. And there were a lot of interest, and we had many submission. From the submission, we actually evaluated the ideas and then selected top 10 teams. And interestingly, the 4 teams were from very young university, Khulna Agricultural University, and 3 teams were from Bangladesh Agriculture University, 1 team from Shahjalan University of Science and Technology University, and one from Islamic University of Technology and Hazid Muhammad Danes Science and Technology University. So we selected top 10 teams, and among the top 10 teams, we selected 3 teams in the grand finale, which was taken place on November 5th. It was a nice ceremony, and there are a lot of participants and interest from the students. And finally, we could select top 3 ideas from the judges board, judges marks, and the participants vote. And the first one is the smart herbicide sprayer for vegetable fields. Crop curator team is from Bangladesh Agriculture University, who actually secured a position in the top 3. Let's congratulate the crop curator team for achieving the position and winning $500 and the crest and certificates. And then the second one was an automated solar power aquaponics system from the Aquatech squad from Khulna Agricultural University. Let's congratulate the Aquatech squad team and their mentors for securing position in the top 3 for their nice idea and winning $500 and also crest and certificates. That third one is aerial network for agricultural management in Bangladesh. That's called from the ANAM team. Actually, they are also from Bangladesh Agriculture University. Let's congratulate ANAM team and their mentor for winning $500 crest and certificates. Just for your information, actually, we'll provide certificates to all top 10s. Let's again congratulate again all top 10 team for their dedication and ideas in the Science Idea competition. We'll show now just pre-recorded video of top 3 ideas just for your information, so you can see how our young smart students are thinking on the smart agriculture. So I would like to have your patience before running the video. So first one I will show that's from the team ANAM. Just 3 minutes video from each team.
I'm Mamun, my partner Imran Siddiqui, our mentor Professor Dr. Mohammad Abdullah from Bangladesh Agricultural University. Our idea is a real network for agricultural management ANAM in Bangladesh. Now rest of the presentation will continue. Imran Siddiqui. Thank you.
Agricultural drone are application to farming in order to help increase crop production. Drone are very costly for farming. Most of them cannot afford to buy drone for agricultural purpose. The aerial network for agricultural management ANAM aims to make sure farmer to be benefited by the necessary agricultural services of drone without buying any drone and increase their production. To ensure emergency agricultural services without minimum time and cost, to ensure optimum use of agricultural input to increase farm productivity and reduce production cost, to reduce pesticides use in crop production, to optimum use of fertilizer. Methodology of the idea: to implement the idea, we have to build a control hub and Android app ANAM by which our farmer can communicate with the control hub to order the necessary agricultural inputs. A drone with the required input will reach the farmer from the nearest substation and apply the input according to the required rate. Here the pictorial view of the methodology. The drone in the field will capture images of crop or farming using camera sensor installed in the drone. Then the drone will process and analyze the image and find out the target area. Farmer will be able to ensure the payment from their mobile account, bKash, Nagod, Rocket, etc. Here the block diagram of ANAM control hub. The ANAM control hub mainly 3-part: planning, monitoring, and controlling. Here all the working principle given in the block diagram. The marketing of the idea is almost 25% income increase possible by the drone in the field of agriculture. Here we give an example. Output and outcome of the idea: crop production will be increased, time will be saved, farmer will be benefited, and they can run also other businesses. Fertilizer can be applied properly. In pesticides cost also be reduced. Reduce environment pollution due to minimum use of pesticide. Sustainability of the idea: farmer can have informed and able to understood the best way of land and crop production. Farmer will be able to apply necessary input through the drone. In hard and rest phase, farmer don't need to buy any drone. They will have to pay only for the service provided. The control hub will be sustained based on the fee of the farmer in transaction mode. Concluding of the idea: Bangladesh government has announced National Agricultural Mechanization Policy Vision 2020, where the government has given maximum importance in agricultural mechanization and IT sector. The drone could be apply of both agricultural mechanization and IT sector and fulfill national our government's goal. Farmer can improve their livelihood by using drone technology and by ensuring farm productivity with the less production cost. Thank you everyone for patience.
Thank you everyone for listening the first one. So I'll go to the next one. This is from Team Aquatech Squad.
Let me share a small story. Bangladesh has a lot of potential lands and fishes resource. Huge, right? But the success rate of aspect is 8.57% only. So what can we do to increase the usefulness of land and fishes? Here comes our automated solar power aquaponics system from Team Aquatic Squad. Our mentor ASM Yunus Bhuya Sabir sir, lecturer, Department of Farm Power and Machinery. Our team leader Mahadi Hassan, our member Bodrunessa Shopnil Barmon, and here I am Tasbiha Tabassum Kobita from Faculty of Agricultural Engineering and Technology, Khulna Agricultural University. Aquaponics can be the smartest solution as it is refers to cultivate fishes and plants together. But the automation by controlling pH, temperature, aeration, irrigation in aquaponics system can overcome these problems. But this system requires a lot of energy, and we will support this energy through solar power system. Our proposal for automated system for aquaponics will be focusing on monitoring and controlling several parameters using solar power. As you can see here, our main focus is on solar power, which will power up the devices and all the data will be accumulated by the sensor. Beside that, we have a microcontroller to regulate the environment, and this is how our automated solar power will work. And the whole part will be categorized as the data acquisition and controlling the environment. For our methodology, here comes an outline. As you can see here, our proposed system starts with a solar panel. This panel is connected to the solar charger controller, which will power up the whole system. On the other hand, there is a battery to restore the excess energy that we will use on the continuous system at night. So here is a voltage and current sensor, and these two will send information to the Arduino Mega. The other four sensors, a temperature sensor, pH sensor, and oxygen sensor, will use this control the environment of fish tank, and this data will be monitored through an LCD screen. An RTC module USB data logging will help the Raspberry Pi on this purpose. All this data will be transmitted by Arduino Mega to the Raspberry Pi. Besides a chemical water pump, water heater, Peltier element, and adapter will be added to Raspberry Pi to oversee the surroundings of fish tank. And here we have added a water flow pump, which will also control through the Arduino Mega, and Raspberry Pi will continue recirculate the water between fish tank and crop cultivation. Here comes our conditions of automations. And if the pH level is less than 6.5, it will activate the pH up functions, and if higher than 7.5, it will activate the pH down function. Same goes for DO level. And our annual energy consumption is 2759 kilowatt per hour, and 6 solar panel of 300 watt capacity are required for the whole system. As output, this system will produce higher quality fish and crops. Our estimated cost will be 2,60,000 taka. Before the conclusion, I have one question for the present good souls. Will Bangladesh achieve her best in agriculture sector? If it's not, why don't we, the young generation, come forward to achieve the best in the agriculture sector? So this is just a small effort to do something for our country. I hope our idea will work as is best. Thank you from Team Aquatic Squad.
Thank you, Aquatic Squad. So last video. So
Hello everyone, my name is Mirza Salhin and I will be presenting about our winning idea on Cyan titled as a smart herbicide sprayer for vegetable fields. First, I will like to give you a quick introduction to our team. I am Mirza Salhin and my partner is Mohammad Tanvirul Islam. As our mentor, we have Dr. Anisur Rahman. Please allow me to give a quick overview of our presentation contents. Current spraying methods and constants. Currently, farmers are manually removing weeds. Herbicides are being applied to the entire field to keep them under control wherever possible. Spraying of chemicals on plantation crops method is ineffective and damaging the environment and human health. Herbicide spraying on weed also harms the population of birds, mammals, insects, and other creatures by altering the nature of their habitat. Also, herbicide entering the atmosphere through soil, plant application. Drift during spraying and vaporization is the most dangerous sources of environmental pollution. Our goal is to develop a suitable, intelligent image processing system that can precisely detect weed in every field. Our objectives. The project's main purpose is to develop a smart weed management system to ensure precise herbicide application based on image processing system, techniques on real-time weed detection system. As our number one objective, we want to develop an image recognition system for a real-time weed detection, and our second objective is to develop a spot spraying system for precise herbicide application on site-specific weed detection. In this slide, you can see our methodology. First, we will capture field weed image, then process the images with Raspberry Pi, and use our algorithm to cite a specific weed detection. After the detection of weed, we will actuate the spray mechanism. With some modification, the proposed technology can be used with autonomous vehicles, power tool, or tractor. As illustrated, many modules can be linked together to create a wider spraying area in the vegetable fields. The socio-economic impact of our project. Women may benefit more from the smart herbicide management system. The system can increase production efficiency and quality, minimizing the adverse environmental effect and risk, and also it will be reducing herbicide contamination of the environment and energy. Output and outcome. Our main outcome is to develop an appropriate digital imaging system to classify weed from other parts in vegetable fields. It will be an innovative, site-specific spot herbicide system to ensure the precise control of weed in vegetable fields. We have calculated that with our system, we will have 2.6 to 3.6 in target deposition efficiency and 70 to 99% reduction of non-target deposition. With just 3,600 and 930 taka, we can develop the whole system. Note that the estimated costs are calculated only for the competing pattern spray mechanism, only based on current market rate. And last, with our project, we are expecting to develop an intelligent weed management system based on real-time weed recognition is expected to develop. When the system is implemented, there will be an increased likelihood of detecting and eliminating weed plants, even when the weed plant is too small to be seen in a naked eye. And thank you for your kind attention. Hello everyone, my name is Mirza Salhin.
These were all three ideas, actually, who secured the top 3 position. Let's congratulate them again and hope they will continue their good works and move forward our agriculture with their smart ideas. So now we will move to the panel discussion session. No, we know we are quite late, but we actually request your patience to stay with us in the panel discussion session. So in the panel discussion session, the theme of the panel discussion session is transforming semi-mechanized to smart agriculture for achieving sustainable food system in the region. We are very glad to have distinguished panelists, Dr. Wais Kobir, former Executive Chairman, Bangladesh Agricultural Research Council, Bangladesh, Dr. Timothy J. Krupnik, Project Leader, Cereal System Initiative for South Asia Mechanization and Extension Activity, ASMIH Bangladesh, and Mr. Subroto Ranjan Das, Executive Director, ASA Motors Limited, Bangladesh, Professor Dr. Mohammad Monjul Alam, Project Director, ASMI Bangladesh, Bangladesh Agriculture University, Bangladesh. I would like to request all panelists to turn on your video while you are in the panel discussion. So each speaker will get 5 minutes to talk about the critical issues on the selected topic. Then we will open the floor for question and answering. And you can also put your question in the chat box. The participant, I would like to request participant, if you have any question during the discussion, you can use the chat box. First, actually, I would like to request Mr. Subroto Ranjan Das, who is the Executive Director of ACI Motors Limited, Bangladesh, consisting around 1,500 people with a turnover more than 180 million US dollar. He graduated from Bangladesh Agricultural University in Agricultural Engineering. He pursued his MBA from Northern University of Bangladesh. He has more than 20 years of experience working in ACI Group. Mr. Das is the initiator of ACI Motors, the biggest farm mechanization and pioneer in promoting technologies like harvester transplanting in Bangladesh. He has been awarded by Bangladesh Society of Agriculture Engineers, Bangladesh Society, for his contribution in agricultural sector. So my question to you, Mr. Das, as a key private sector partner, what transformation do you see or expect while moving from semi-mechanized to smart agriculture for achieving sustainable food system in the region? And what would be the future direction of agricultural machinery manufacturing, business extension, capacity building, and enabling market environment for ensuring sustainable food security in Bangladesh? The floor is to you, Professor.
Thank you, Professor Chan, and all the respected and very highly high-profile participant. Especially, I am very happy to see Gajendra Singh sir after a long time, and I always admire Prashanta Kalita sir as a mentor or as an idol, and of course our Monjur Alam sir. He is dedicating his life for the mechanization of this region, and all other participants. As you know, that ACI Motors is one of the leading mechanization company in this country. I would like to mention that Professor Gajendra Singh sir will be happy to know that almost we have sold about 2,000 harvesters. I'm taking 1 minute on this. 2,000 harvesters still now, because this data after this 2 seasons we have sold almost 2,000, and 50% harvesters are equipped with a smart assist. From this smart assist from the mobile phone, the user can see their performance and they can find the fault finding of the electrical systems. So this is how the digital technology is coming to the scenario, and this is the very important discussion because we are the one of the largest population in the world, 2.5% population of the world, and they need to be freed. In next 30 years, our food production need to be double, and for this doubling this food production, actually the traditional agricultural mechanization will not be able to feed all this nation. With this, we need to have a serious digital intervention, and I'm very happy to see that young people are thinking about this kind of digital intervention. And with this digital, because we have to produce double with the less resource, and also in less vulnerable, more vulnerable condition, because you know that we are the climate threat country. So this agriculture needs to be transformed little bit from the weather driven to this is with a control environment. As I'm going to your question, I have a 2 minutes video as a private company. how we are seeing that agriculture transformation will happen in very near future, because this will happen. Because harvester was a story 10 years back, now it is the reality. As well as also if the 10 years back, any US executive is to visit, he is coming with a nice laptop and we are working with a desktop. Now all this technology is available. So our boys also can develop this kind of technology. So I'm taking time to play the video, how our, as a leading corporate, we are seeing agricultural transformation in near future.
Within the next 30 years, Bangladesh will experience a surge in population and will need to double the amount of food production using less land and scarce resources. Digital transformation is the only solution to tackle these challenges. We, ACI Motors, has taken a glimpse into the future and have developed scenarios of how we can be at the center of this transformation of food production, mechanization, and mobility. Using IoT technologies to harness the power of data to predict best crops to grow, recognizing crop diseases and pest faster. With data captured from each field and connected to a predictive analytics system, we can have an unprecedented view of the crops. Soil testing sensors will lower the cost of field oversight and accelerate response to crop threat. Artificial intelligence will expose inefficiencies and unlock new insights to enhance crop production. These analytics will help farmers take smart agricultural decisions, in turn result in higher quality and more abundant produce. With intelligent fleet management solution and interconnected network of retailers, we can ensure optimization in total seed-to-plate journey. The robotics will add a new horizon on how crop can be produced and harvested. Vertical farming solution to shed off the restriction of seasonal weather pattern, overcoming transportation challenges, and significantly enhancing yield. ACI Motors is working hard to enable innovation in Bangladeshi food production, supply chain, and mobility solution. Working together, we can rise to the challenge of this transformation. This is data-driven future. This is the vision of ACI Motors.
Thank you. And actually, this is how we are thinking that this transformation will happen. And at this herbicide and others, we are working and we are conceptualizing and we are preparing our team to do this. And thank you for listening. And if there is any question, I will collect from the chat box and I'll try to reply, because I am hosting a dinner in Sea Beach in Cox's Bazar. 300 people is waiting for me. So I'm so sorry, I'm leaving now.
Thank you, Subroto Ranjan Das, for being with us in so late night. And it was really nice to see that how ACI Motors is thinking towards digitalization of Bangladesh agriculture. So thank you again for your comments and showing our videos. Now I'll move to Professor Dr. Mohammad Monjul Alam, who is leading to Feed the Future program, Appropriate Scale Mechanization Innovation Hub Bangladesh, and Post-Harvest Loss Reduction Innovation Lab Bangladesh. As you, sir, as you said in your presentation, that appropriate scale mechanization is one of the major issues in Bangladesh for sustainable food production, and ASMIH-Bangladesh program has ended its 6 years of the work at the end of the September. As a researcher and academician, what transformation do you see or expect while moving from semi-mechanized to smart agriculture for achieving a sustainable food system in the region, and what would be the future direction of research and capacity building for sustaining food security in Bangladesh? Sir, floor is to you. Sir.
Thank you, Professor Charan, for giving me the floor. Distinguished guests and the panel discussions. So the proposition actually placed in front of us for the discussion. It is really a time of the. So Mr. Subroto Ranjan Das already talked before us and shown how the future agriculture will be and what sorts of challenge we have in the future. So we are in the junction point. The world is actually having the fourth industrial revolution, where the cyber physical system will dominate, where artificial intelligence, robotics, and IoT will dominate the whole world. And that is not beyond the agricultural systems. But in the proposition, what Dr. Choyan mentioned, that we are now having a semi-mechanized agriculture, and we are going forward to having a fully mechanized, or with this actually fourth industrial revolution, that is the artificial intelligence, IoT, and robotics. So there is a very big challenge in front of us. We are at the junction point. What we can do, the reality we need to look at. So now our power consumption or power availability per hectare of land is only 3 kilowatt per hectare. While in Japan, it is 8.75 kilowatt per hectare. In China, it is 5.7 kilowatt per hectare. So we are far behind in using the power availability. And most of the power that is we are using now is mechanical power and very small portion of electrical power. That is the first industrial revolution and second industrial revolution. Then the automation comes. It starts in 1980s. And in 2010, now we are moving to artificial intelligence. We haven't coped this in agricultural field. So there is a big challenge. You know, our average rice production is in the field is 3.5 tons per hectare, but the potential is more than 10 tons per hectare. And as Mr. Das already mentioned that we need to double the food production by 2050. Again, the biotic and abiotic stresses that there is a land scarcity and the climate change is posing a threat in front of us. Yes, the fourth industrial revolution, even the third industrial revolution, that is the automation, information technology, that is the artificial intelligence and IoT, that will give the solution. But there is a big question, whether we are ready to adopt these technologies in Bangladesh, whether we have the capacity to adopt these technologies in Bangladesh. We are still lagging behind in actually second or third industrial revolution, and we are at the fourth industrial revolution. That's a very big question. And it actually question myself, what would be the solution of that? In my case, my understanding, the human resource development is a big question. So we need to be prepared for this transformational change, this paradigm shift. Dr. Singh sir already mentioned that the local service provider and the mechanization, that is one of these vehicle for the smallholder farming community. But what you see in Bangladesh, even the whole agricultural sector, that the knowledge and capacity is needed to accommodate this third industrial revolution or fourth industrial revolution technology. Are we prepared? Are our educational institution, are our research institution, and the field level agriculturists, are they prepared for that? So there is a very big question, and my proposition is, now is the time to wake up, and now is the time to make the policy intervention for capacity building. And the people we need to face these challenges. What I see in the immediate future, what we need to do that we, beyond this capacity building, we can work on, this climate is changing. So we cannot actually go for this traditional agriculture. Mechanization is must. Precision agriculture is must. Smart agriculture is must. But we need to have some controlled environment agriculture. When you see the greenhouse, not always that we have to look at the sophisticated greenhouse. but semi-controlled or partially controlled polyhouses can do. And we can grow some of the crops, especially the vegetables and fruits, and the other things also. You know, most of our produce is being lost because of the lack of actually post-harvest processing. We have been working for the long time to develop the dryers for the cereals, dryers for the vegetables, and the storage technology. These need to be put into the total value chain of this, the post-harvest processing. And for that, actually, especially the cold chain and dry chain, that we need to look at. We need to look at for this research and development, and that to be included in the academic perspective. Again, energy is a big issue. Now we are talking about the circular agriculture. So whenever we're talking, that means we are actually accommodating all these crop, livestock, and fisheries, and that should be energy efficient. So we need to look at immediately. We have the potential of biogas. We have the biogas residues in Bangladesh. We have the waste. We have this actually animal. So the droppings and others. So the biogas, and we have the abundant solar energy. So the biogas solar energy nexus smart microgrid is really an important issue. We need to do some research and work, and we need to actually adapt in this country. Finally, what I would like to say, this is the time for develop our capacity. This is the time for policy and strategies for how to we have the people that will face the future challenges and the challenges of today. Thank you very much for giving me the chance.
Thank you, sir, for your some valid points with the capacity building and some direction towards smart agriculture and what Bangladesh can do for moving our agriculture and making the agriculture sustainable. So now I turn to Dr. Timothy J. Krupnik, who has more than 15 years of experience in applied agricultural research for development projects in Asia, Sub-Saharan Africa, and in the Caribbean. He leads an innovative and multidisciplinary science team implementing $5 million per year portfolio of research for the development projects focused on the principle of sustainable and ecological intensification in smallholder dominated and tropical agricultural system. Dr. Krupnik priorities interdisciplinary and system-oriented research and has a strong track record of building high-performing science partnership and attracting funding. Dr. Krupnik maintains a strong desire to translate science into impact by maintaining research innovation and leading scaling effort through public and private sector partners. So now my question to you, Dr. Krupnik, as a key development agency, what transformation do you see or expect while moving from semi-mechanized to smart agriculture for achieving a sustainable food system in the region? What would be the future direction and role of development agencies in promoting research, extension, and capacity building for ensuring sustainable food security in Bangladesh? Dr. Krupnik, floor is yours.
Thank you very much, and assalamu alaikum, and welcome to everyone. I've been very impressed listening to the last few hours of discussion, and I want to congratulate colleagues for all of the work that has been done over the last few years and the tremendous and significant impacts that have been made. It's very exciting to see the way that this kind of work is growing, because in many ways it shows the maturation of efforts around building rural service provision economies in which mechanization works very strongly, but can also be a platform by which we can build systems to support farmers, but offer opportunities to also generate income for rural entrepreneurs. Some of the work that we've been doing with the Cereal Systems Initiative for South Asia, which has been supported by USAID and the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation in India, Bangladesh, and Nepal for over the last 12 years, has supported these efforts very strongly. And I'm really pleased to see the work that's maturing and the way in which we've got still into almost after 9 p.m. in Bangladesh, more than 122 people who are listening to this call and thinking through these issues. So our work has supported very similar efforts. We worked, for example, through a range of projects in Bangladesh over the years where we worked on commercialization of some of the early machineries that were used for seeding, for harvesting, for irrigation, with a large uptake of more than 3,000 service providers serving farmers on over 100,000 hectares and more than 300,000 farmers in some of our early efforts in Bangladesh. And this has been mimicked by work that we have ongoing also in the Terai, in Nepal, and large parts of Eastern India as well. And we do this working closely with private sector partners and also public sector partners, much in the way that have been discussed now and today. What is encouraging about the discussions that we've had is the ways in which advanced technologies are starting to reach farmers on an accelerated basis, and the large and significant governmental support that has gone into making machinery options more affordable for aspiring entrepreneurs who want to purchase machines and offer services to farmers on an affordable fee-for-service basis in a way that lowers costs for farmers, but also generates incomes for machinery owners. And those two parts of the equation are crucial and important for making sure that this approach functions and that it works effectively. However, having said that, I think in light of the transformation and the movement into a smart and more modernized agricultural system within Bangladesh, we also need to focus on building a broader ecosystem that supports the work around mechanization and agricultural services. And that's what a lot of the work that we are doing in our current USAID Bangladesh supported Cereal Systems Initiative for South Asia Mechanization and Extension Project does. So, for example, Dr. Alam spoke very much about the successes that we've had for the very dramatic expansion of combine harvester services that have come into Bangladesh. And it's really a fruitful and big opportunity that has arrived. But also at the same time, once you have machinery coming, you often have challenges as discussed with respect to the risks for breaking down and the need for spare parts. And also for training for mechanics to be able to fix more sophisticated machinery. So through the research and partnership work that we do, we've been working now with a range of over 80 small and medium-sized agriculturally based light engineering workshops throughout the country who are now producing spare parts of sufficient quality with good welding and good finishing that can then be sold to firms, for example, that are supplying combine harvesters, that are supplying tractors, that are supplying a range of other equipment. So we are filling the gap that comes. So once machinery arrives, we work on imports and resales, but we start to build the domestic ability of manufacturers within Bangladesh to be able to support that industry, first very strongly with spare parts, and then ideally moving very soon thereafter into production of simpler, easy to maintain machines. And then eventually over time, we'd like to see a maturation of the industry. So we reduce the imports of sophisticated machinery, but instead start making this machinery truly in Bangladesh and for the farmers of Bangladesh. So to do that, it requires a rethinking of the way that we work. It requires an interest amongst engineers and agricultural scientists and business development experts and our colleagues in the private sector to come together and look very far down the value chain and look at the supportive services that are required for being able to build a market ecosystem that can support the agricultural transformation that will be important for the overall food systems transformation that we will see coming in the next few years in Bangladesh and in the region as a whole. So I want to end with that, but say once again, to reiterate, we need to be able to expand our thinking. We need to embrace a willingness to move beyond just the farmer's field and to look very, very purposefully at designing systems that assure the support for machinery to be able to function in the long term in farmers' fields, and most importantly also for a range of businesses to be able to develop and offer jobs for many other people to enter into supporting the agricultural industry through production of spare parts and machinery, and eventually reaching a large scale with the import substitution of some of the machinery that we have discussed over time. That won't happen quickly. This will take years, and it's part of a stepped process of industrial development and change, as Dr. Alam mentioned. But we need to set our sights in those directions and take purposeful steps working together in that direction, because it will eventually help us move towards some of the food security and food systems transformation aims that we've discussed, while also supporting job creation, income generation, and a diversification of business services that are related to the agricultural sector in Bangladesh. Bangladesh is an industrial leader. Anyone who knows anything about the garments industry, for example, in Bangladesh, knows that Bangladesh can be a leader when it comes to businesses and to such services. So we need to take our learning and understanding and move it across sectors, focus it into agriculture, and I'm quite convinced as we work together towards the future that we can truly create transformative change looking forward. Thanks very much, and congratulations again.
Thank you, Dr. Kruptik, for your nice words and actually mentioning some crucial issues, building capacity for making spare parts locally and making agricultural machinery sustainable, as well as creating jobs in the Bangladesh, especially in the agricultural machinery sector. Thank you very much again for your nice comments and words. Now I'll go to our last panelist, Dr. Wais Kobir, who is the former executive chairman of Bangladesh Agriculture Research Council, the apex institution of National Agriculture Research System, NARS. He also led Krishi Gobeshona Foundation, a government-sponsored autonomous research grant-making body, as executive director. He also promotes agricultural research and development involving NARS, university, private sector, and international research centers. Now, my question go to you, Dr. Kobir, as a national level policy maker and research coordinator. What transformation do you see or expect while moving from semi-mechanized to smart agriculture for achieving a sustainable food system in the region? What would be the future direction of research, extension, and policy in adopting smart technology in agriculture for ensuring sustainable food security in Bangladesh? The floor is yours, sir.
Your mic is muted.
Oh, sorry, but thank you, Professor Shah, inviting me. I'm very much excited to see my professor, Dr. Gajendra Singh. I learned agriculture mechanization from him during 84, 85. So it's my great privilege to see him and find I am very happy that he is having a very good, maintaining good health. My colleagues, friends, including Professor Kalita and many others who are attending today. It's absolutely very, very interesting experiences. I think this is the ocean of experiences going on today around the world, from South Asia, Southeast Asia, African countries, including Burkina Faso and many others. So I think this is the time for us that what lessons we are learning today out of this as we go along. For example, we cannot really see Cambodia from here, and even because or in Africa, what I really want to mean that with these resources of experiences and learning, we must now develop our pathways, because agriculture mechanization is very much sensitive, unlike other technology. It goes with location, it goes with social fabric, it goes with technological know-how of a specific location. Bangladeshis are basically were not machine-loving community. The society was mostly traditional. It's not very different from even India. But it is very happy. I am very happy to see that a great transformation is taking place with mechanization. And I see number of projects are really going on. It's not the project like ASMIH. ACIAR is also providing support in different projects. As Tim was mentioning about CISA, MI. So with these experiences, what I feel that the point Professor Manjur Alam was talking about, youth, and he was talking about two key points: capacity development. We need to know that our growing population, particularly youth educated people, they are becoming jobless, they are becoming unemployed. We need to make them resources rather than obligation to the society. And probably this is the high time in the region. It's not only South Asia, but also in Southeast Asia, that how to continue this momentum of transformation and how to capitalize those lessons. That's one point I want to mention. You know, for example, the mechanization is growing on in different phases. For example, in individually, some are purchasing machines, and also group approach, as Manjur was asking, that one point service providing, but we have some lessons from other side of the Asian countries, that what are the best model that works well in a specific area. For example, what I wrote a point like, we need to take the global experiences and the solution should be local level. So that's what I pointed out. But again, presently we are mostly depending on importation of large machines like combine, reaper, or whatever. But what about their operational status? We need to have skill to make these machines operating in the field in a better condition. For that matter, the mechanics, as Manjur was mentioning, that will be needed. Also, even in India, we see service center, government sponsored, but private sector led service center is growing. And these are growing by the youth, educated youth. They are diverting. So I think these are the issues that we need to know. But again, if we talk about the local manufacturers, there is a question of precisionness, economy of scale that we need to think. But lastly, I want to, because here most of you are engineers, what I want to mean that agriculture intensification will require not only tilling, but there are many other aspects like drying, handling, processing, value addition. We need to have those kind of support from agriculture engineers, particularly through machines, and also beyond the crop subsector, we need to focus our effort in fisheries and livestock as it is growing. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity, and I really appreciate bringing all those experiences from different part of the world. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much, sir, and mentioning a nice point that we need to have the global experience and bringing the solution in the local level. So thank you again. So before going to the question answering session, we have a eminent professor, Professor Emeritus Professor Sattar Mondal sir, who is the former Vice Chancellor of Bangladesh Agriculture University. He is with us at this late hour. So I would like to request Professor Sattar Mondal sir to say a few words or provide some remarks on this presentation or panel discussion. Sir, are you there?
Yes, yes, I'm there. Thank you, John.
Sir, thank you.
Thank you very much. As I told you that I have been here living my seat off and on, and I have been so attracted to these rich deliberations from our panelists and then presenters, and particularly these young students from different universities, really, that I couldn't but take the pain of sitting a bit longer, really. I'm very sorry to say that, but I have enjoyed really good compensation for me. First of all, my congratulations to ASMIH as usual. I have been very enthusiastic observer of what ASMIH as a whole in the region, and particularly ASMIH at BAU, my alma mater, has been engaged in all these years. I'm very impressed by the achievements. All I'm trying to focus on include a number of things, really. This is not the place to detail out, but I would like to draw your attention and capture your focus if it is possible. You have that in mind, but I'm just re-emphasizing. First of all is this concept of transformation. And you are very right that we are dealing with mechanization, which is a driver to agricultural mechanization. My book's title is like this. The book I am referring to that I published in 2017. But now I am beginning to feel that let us look at from a broader perspective of transformation of the rural society in Bangladesh for many reasons. So let us think about recapturing these new drivers of Bangladesh economy particularly, and probably other economies in Asia, that it moves from just agricultural transformation to now a rural transformation, because it involves now rural industries, manufacturing, then rural youths as entrepreneurs, and then rural financing, which adds to banking and non-banking sector of financing agricultural mechanization through dealerships and dealers and then other sort of stakeholders. So it now encompasses the broader views of rural transformation for a sustainable, not only agriculture, but sustainable food system in our sustainable and nutritious food system, really safe food system. And my third point is that let's go also to do some analysis of reviewing the whole issue of subsidy, which has been the key driver to this agricultural mechanization. And now, as Manjurul Alam Champok mentioned that there is a target for 50,000 combined harvester. Let me pick up an example really. Well, it may not be possible in 5 years. It may be maybe a longer period. But the key input or the driver is the subsidy, which ranges from 50 to 70%. And if at the present level of 50% subsidy on an average combined harvester, it may add to about 75 billion US dollar really, which for a country like Bangladesh may not be that big really, given the whole total amount of subsidy coming to agriculture. But there are other side effects of this kind of huge subsidy coming to only one machine like combine harvester, but there are subsidies for other machineries as well. So what I would like to emphasize is that, yes, together with subsidy as an entry point really for a lumpy, seasonally usable and expensive machinery, subsidy is okay. But let us look for other alternative driver besides subsidy really. And that alternative driver to my mind is a kind of year-long profit-oriented kind of investment in the machinery sector really, and which involves, as Tim Krupnik mentions, that not only these entrepreneurs, but also these manufacturers, the Kamal industry I have known for many years. He's here, and then I think Waliullah, and then who else, and Metal, Faridpur, and many others I see and I have known. So these are the people crucially important also to look at, and then you encompass rural transformation. I think I stop here, and I commit myself to working, or at least contributing through my own understanding and ideas, and learning from these new experiences and empirical efforts that ASMIH project has been offering to us really. And I wish success of this project. Thank you very much indeed, John, for accommodating me
for your
at your scarce schedule. Thank you. And thank you, Professor Gajendra Singh. Very nice to see your very healthy, smiling face.
Nice to see you, sir.
Yeah, and then Professor Kalita, and then others. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir, for your nice words and some suggestion towards smart agricultural mechanization. We are already out of time, but we'll take 1 or 2 questions from the audience. Gajendra Singh, sir, you would like to say something, sir?
Yes, I think I like to say something about this transformation. The basic requirement is the manpower, capacity building. And I will propose that the Bangladesh Agriculture University looks at its curriculum and also the degree offered. They should be able to offer other engineering branches there, like computer science, electronics and communications engineering. If you bring these BTech degree programs in Bangladesh Agriculture University, then you will have a very strong foundation to bring all these new technologies into agriculture. And because you have the very successful and very strong agricultural programs, okay, so you need to strengthen with these new technologies right on the campus. And so that can become a basis of, and I think as a university should not be a problem to introduce additional degree programs. So I thought of that way, because we find it very successful in few places in India where full-fledged engineering faculty has been developed at agriculture universities, and they have a much stronger foundation to move forward. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. If there is any other comments or suggestions from
Dr. Chan,
sir.
just I like to mention that Professor Gajendra Singh sir, now we have in BAU not only the agriculture engineering degree, we are providing food engineering degree, and just last year, that is the students are coming now. There is a actually computer engineering. Now we call it bioinformatics engineering. Now we merge this bioinformatics engineering and agricultural engineering, all the course curriculums together, so that we can face the tomorrow's demand, and we are now trying to grow ourselves. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Dr. Mohesh K. Ghatala, please.
Thank you very much, sir. And then it's really a great, experience and then learnings. Just I'm, putting one highlight points. Maybe Professor Gajendra sir here, he will be agree with me. In this transformation of agriculture mechanization, I think we must be consider and then take the lessons from where we are facing in Northwest India, or where is burning are coming. So when will we promote these all mechanizations and combined harvesting and all, I'm sure secondary problems will arise in future too in Bangladesh and in other parts. So really we are considering and then taking lessons from where we are facing problem of pollutions and air pollutions and all. What we are preparing for that, any research programs for to addressing of those secondary problems in Bangladesh also, because otherwise we will be same issue and then we'll be under same kind of big question mark that, oh, we are facing all for, like air pollution and kind of like these particulates and all. So that's we must be taken care when we'll talk about all agriculture agriculture and all. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your nice comments. We'll keep that in mind. So any other comments from the participant? We are actually quite late, we know, and you are with us quite long time. So rather going to taking any other comments. So I would like to request Professor Dr. Weiskobir for summarizing the session and concluding remarks from the today's panel discussion. Dr. Weiskobir.
So this is my turn to say the concluding remarks. Of course, that's very difficult for me, but what I could say that thanks for all presenters who presented the cross-country experiences of agricultural mechanization, more particularly in focused areas. So that's what, as I have said already, but after learning that this project also took some prize winners in different startup programs, like what I could see, the herbicides, the remote control service like drone, and some other promising and potential boys and girls. I think we should continue patronizing those. Who knows? Nobody knows that this could be an asset in future, not only for Bangladesh, for other countries. So I appreciate the project team for having this kind of sideline program to popularize, to make greater awareness among the stakeholders. And also, as Mahesh was telling about the environmental issues of agriculture mechanization, what India is experiencing, we must take care of all those. But again, Professor Sattar Mondal was talking about subsidy. We are not very aware about for example, India. We know India is providing subsidy, but we don't know what is the subsidy status or the financial support being provided in Southeast Asia like Cambodia and many other countries that we need to also learn. I, of course, go with many of you who spoke about youth. I also very much agree that we need to develop them, because what I see in future, our days are gone, but in future, these boys and girls who are graduate from the universities, what I see painfully, that they are going abroad, risking their life. This is, of course, not very encouraging and also shameful for us. Keeping those in mind, we must make this youth as a capital. And probably we are missing a train of conservation agriculture, which reduces the cost, which reduces the environmental pollution, focusing smallholder. So there are a number of models, successful models around the world, more particularly South Asia and Southeast Asia. But adoption rate is very slow. So I think we must mainstream it. I don't see in Bangladesh it is very much coming in the forefront. So keeping that in mind, I really consider the conservation agriculture should be in the mainstream of the government policy, so that we can really promote agriculture with lesser pollution and lesser energy. With this, I again thank you, all of you who are attending, who very much contributed and enlightened us with your wisdom, with your experiences. I'm sure this will be the major capital for us to go forward. Again, sir, Professor Gajendra Singh, I'm very much delighted to see you after a long time. We hope you keep a better health and we'll be working together again. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Vice Kabir, for nice word and encouraging word for our youth. So now time for the closing of the symposium. Before going to the last speaker, I'd like to thank you all for your patience hearing and being with us. Due to time limitation, we could not address all the questions. We're very sorry for that, but your questions in the chat box will be considered as a complement of the workshop and added in the workshop report. There is another one announcement. We will have another symposium announced by Post-Harvest Loss Reduction Innovation Lab Bangladesh on November 18, 2021. See the same time, you are cordially requested to join the symposium using the same link. Now I would like to invite Professor Dr. Prashanta Kumar Kalita, Director, Appropriate Scale Mechanization Consortium, University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign, USA, to convey his concluding remarks and conclude the whole symposium. Professor Kalita.
Thank you, Dr. Trayan. I thought Dr. Kabir already made all the concluding remarks, and I was very happy that you probably will not ask me to repeat those things. So, but anyway, I'll give pretty much the same type of concluding remarks that Dr. Vice Kabir mentioned. You know, you all are doing so much, and I'm reading all the comments on the chat box. The people are extremely happy. This has been a very learning journey, this whole last 2-3 hours for all of us, all our people. So that itself is a big impact. And, you know, Dr. Vera Prasad always mentions that, you know, we have to bring food and nutrition to every person that we want to. We have to have this transformational technologies, practices, and this transformational the wisdom that we have to bring it to our partners, to our people. So this is another example that you all have said. So Dr. Alam, the fearless leader that we have been so lucky to work with for not only for ASMI, but also other USAID-led projects, and for the whole your cooperation, your guidance, helping us for the entire ASMC project. And so is Dr. Saha. Thank you so much for your assistance to Dr. Alam, and keeping that communication open, and on a regular basis updating the ASMI website with the wonderful pictures, with wonderful updates about where you're training people, what kind of machineries are being used, and what the farmers are telling. So almost this has become my first thing morning. I come to office at 6 o'clock. From 6 to 6:30, I look for ASMI update, and you have never made me more happier than how I am. I'm so proud to be associated with this project. So thank you so much. Also thank you for bringing our wonderful partners from Cambodia, Dr. Dina Thang, into this. Thanks also go to Dr. Mani Rees, who is our Asian regional coordinator, for encouraging this regional collaboration to happen. And as Dr. Kabir was telling, Cambodia is leading some of the wonderful conservation agriculture practices and machine, and they're just next door. So there is every reason that we can probably work with them to spread those technologies in Bangladesh and others. Another good thing, as was mentioned as well by Dr. Chattar Mandal, the youth organization that you have brought into life, from nothing to the life, and the first competition with 8 universities from all over Bangladesh, they participated and all out there. I again, word by word, Dr. Kabir said, that giant concept, the youth concept, can go to other countries, and let this be the inception for bringing our entrepreneurs, our youth together to solve all our food, nutrition, and human capacity problem out there. So thank you all so much. Also, Dr. Tim Krupnik, thank you so much for bringing all the wonderful ideas and sharing those resources that you put it in the chat box. We want to collaborate with the CGIAR organization, and we know CISA has done wonderful work in that part of the world. So we have lots to learn from that. So thank you so much. Last but not least, Dr. Gajendra Singh, sir, I don't know how I can thank you enough for all the things. Every time we request you something, you do that. I know you are retired and you are doing many other work, but this is kind of an overload that we put it. But we also have the confidence that you probably have never learned to say no to when we ask something. So thank you for your blessings on a day-to-day basis, and encouraging all the young people, bringing beautiful and bright ideas for all of us to succeed, to solve the grand challenges of the planet, and especially for our developing countries. Dr. Vera Prasad and the SEAL, we are so thankful and grateful to you for continuously providing us help and support and ideas that sometimes we don't even think about it, but you put that in our mind and push us in a gentle way and show us how we can go there. So the survey that we have learned something from Africa, and as many of you know, many of you that are attending seminar today, you will be getting a survey link for for us to know about the agricultural mechanization status in Asia. And Dr. Chayan has already given us 300 links to your individual emails. We would love to hear from you constructively for your input through the survey. So, and I know we have several of our ASMC colleagues, Dr. Ajit Srivastava, Dr. Alan Hansen, Dr. George Sapar, and others, Dr. Mani Rees, of course, and Ms. Maria Jones, Dr. Sam Lindgren from our UIUC. They all have participated and provided immense help to all of us to move in the direction to fulfill the goals of this project. Last but not least, I'd like to thank our project manager, Leighton Brown, who keeps us all glued together, updates us for all the projects. And I know he communicates with Dr. Alam and Dr. Saha on a daily basis, more than once. And because I get a copy of that email every time he sends to you. So thank you so much. I might have forgotten many other visionaries that have participated today and provided your help and input to, and as well as throughout this entire last 3 hours, constantly guiding us and encouraging us to continue. Although, as Chayan said, we exceeded the time, but I think this is worth spending the little extra time to hear what all the wise people and our partners and everyone has to say. So thank you so much, and I appreciate that. We look forward to Leighton and I are talking someday. Hopefully we'll come to Bangladesh and see some of this work ourselves. I have seen it, but Leighton is very excited to see that there is a plan that Dr. Mani Rees is putting a conference in Cambodia. I think it's in June. And then we hope to see many of you there. And then maybe at the same time, our Cambodian partners can do a similar parallel workshop where we will have opportunity for ASMI to present, as well as our African hub, both hub from Senegal and Burkina Faso. With the help of Dr. Ajit Srivastava, we could also get everyone updated. So thank you so much. I really appreciate you being here and supporting us in accomplishing our project goals. Thank you and good night to you all.
Thank you, sir.